Hello and welcome to All About Billings. We are a show dedicated to discovering the people who make Billings a great place to work and live. We will interview local business people, community leaders, artists, entertainers, and we will learn from them all about their successes, their failures, and their connection to Billings. I'm your host, Nancy Brook, broker and owner at Billings Best Real Estate. And today it is my pleasure to have as my guest Heidi Lyn Stevens with Heidi Travel.
Hi, thanks Nancy.
Hi, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I told you I love travel, and I was really interested in you having a travel agency. How did you get started in the travel business?
Well, even growing up, I thought I was going to be a flight attendant. And right out of high school, I went to Reno, Nevada and got hired on with America West Airlines. But before the training started, life in Billings took me a different direction, and I just didn't get back to that. And after raising children, and I wanted some extra income. And there was 16 of us, wanted to go on a family trip, and we had one that didn't have a passport. And I was struggling with finding a place in the United States and that would fit all of our needs, that we didn't need a passport. And somebody said, well, you should use my travel agent. So I looked her up, found out it wasn't going to cost me anything extra. And we actually had kind of some issues on that trip where our flights got delayed, and she just handled everything. So when we got back from our trip, and I was thinking I need something else to do, I thought, why don't I go back to what my passion was 35 years ago and get back into travel and maybe see about travel agent. And it took me about a year researching different companies to join who fit my needs and fit what I wanted to do best. And I joined with a host agency. They're the largest travel agent host agency in the world.
So what does host agency mean?
Means they are an umbrella. They hold all the vendors. They make the contracts with all the vendors. They give us access to all the vendors. We do our training through them. After we sign up to be a travel agent, we take some initial training. We have continued training throughout the rest of, there's always a new vendor you can train with, and it doesn't cost anything after. We do have a monthly fee to the host agency that covers our licenses, our insurance, and again, unlimited training. And then that host agency takes 2% of what our commission is, and our commission varies anywhere from 12 to 20%. So then they get 2% of that 15%.
Sure.
And
for having the network and the platform and everything else.
Yes, and that's one of the things that made me go with this particular company is we have, I can't even count how many Facebook pages from people all over the world, and I can just, depending on if it's a cruise, a European vacation, a Caribbean vacation, a train ride, I can just type in on my Facebook pages, say who's experienced this, who's sold this, who's been on this.
Wow.
And we really have a huge networking. And so even maybe I haven't been somewhere, or I haven't researched or sent somebody myself yet, I can just reach out to others and do my own research, and through collaboration. And we're all very eager and willing to help each other.
Well, and it seems like, I don't know what year it was, but it seems like maybe it was sometime in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, when people just started booking their own travel instead of using travel agents. Because I remember way back when, you'd always use a travel agent for even airline tickets.
Yes.
And then now it's like you book online, you book your hotel online, and I didn't realize it costs you the same if you have somebody help you.
It does. And I hope so in my company, I have two actual businesses. We're not supposed to promote them together.
Sure.
So I'll try to keep them separate. But what I do is I have a platform where I sell travel and earn a commission to people who just don't want anything to do with it. They just tell me we want to go here or help us find this trip, and I earn a commission on that. The umbrella company that I've been with has been around for 35 years.
Wow.
They're the largest, and to me, they're the best. That's why I chose them. And about 10 years ago, they thought the exact same thing that you just said. We are losing a huge market to those people who want to book their own online. So they created a marketing arm. And is it a direct marketing? Yes, it's direct marketing. You won't see us advertised on TV or anything like that. But what then I have to offer is the platform for somebody else to become a travel agent themselves.
I gotcha.
And what is nice about that is you have two separate kind of travelers. Those that don't want anything to do with it, they want somebody else to handle it for them. Or you have the traveler that's already the family traveler. Everybody reaches out to that person and says, book this trip for us. Or they just like to be in the nitty-gritty. So I can sell them or get them into the platform to where they can take the minimal training as a travel agent and book just for themselves. They are then getting a commission when they return from their trip.
Okay.
They are getting the same deals. I like to refer it to, let's say I'm using one of the cleansing products that women use or whatever that's big out there, like Rodan and Fields or something. If I used enough product that it cost me an X amount of dollars a year to buy that product, but if it significantly decreased my price if I became a rep for that product.
Right.
And I got that whole sample box full of all that stuff, and then I got my stuff at cost. This is similar. If you become a travel agent and just book for yourself, and maybe, there are no quotas, nothing like that, you don't have to take the extended training, then you can get travel. You can find the cheaper deals, then you get the commission. Because whether you are booking with Expedia, Priceline, Booking.com, Costco, one of the storefront travel agents, or one of the many travel agents in Billings, you are paying the commission no matter what. That same exact 15, 18, 20% is built in. So if you're booking with Expedia, that $500, we'll just use a good number, that $500 commission is going back to Expedia.
Wow.
It's not even going to the person maybe that you called in to talk to or that you booked with.
So like the airlines, they want you to book direct because then they don't have to pay a commission.
Correct. And in the United States, I will get the date wrong, so I won't say a date, but many years ago, inside the United States, Expedia doesn't get commission, nobody gets commission, it's just a flat airline rate.
Oh, okay.
So, but I do get better discounts if I package the airfare, and there's only one payment. If I can package your airfare, your excursions, your transfer from the hotel or from the airport to the hotel, you don't have to worry about finding an Uber or finding somebody trustworthy when you get out. It's already booked for you. It's already scheduled for you to get from your hotel back to the airport, and your trip insurance. And if I can package that all together, then you only have one payment. You can book that trip with a deposit, and you can make payments, or you can just make a lump sum payment before the due date. And the due date is typically 45 days before.
Sure, but you can book early because sometimes that's the obstacle for people, right?
Yes.
Maybe they want, you want to book early, or you might not get enough
you
seats.
Might not,
you might not get
or you might not get that
hotel.
ocean view room that you want with the king
Exactly.
bed, or absolutely.
Well, that's really fascinating. You asked me once, well, do I just really enjoy booking my own trips? Well, I don't know that I particularly enjoy it. I mean, I kind of know what I want to do, but it's can be challenging.
Yeah.
Like we're doing a cruise, which a cruise is easy enough, but we're going to Italy. And so with the Italy, then we want to book this museum, and then we want to do this excursion, and then we don't want to do the cruise excursion. Maybe we want to do this, and then we got to figure out how to get on the train. There's a lot of moving parts, even for a trip that you would think a cruise is pretty simple.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's a lot more to it.
There are, and I have I thousands of vendors. Now of course I have my top 20 that I go to, depending on what the trip, if it's a European trip, a Caribbean trip, a cruise, whatever. I have my top ones that I use all the time, and we have great relationships, so they know when I'm calling. I book quite a bit. I've done well over the last 4 years, and so I'm able to talk to the heads of, not the head of Royal Caribbean, but somebody that I don't have to get in a queue to wait.
Right, but that's important.
Yeah, and so if somebody is stuck somewhere in destination, they don't have to get and that's my, sorry, I kind of backtracked. That's my other selling point for being a travel agent, and I'll give you an example. I had 8 couples going to Costa Rica in October. 6 of them booked with me. 2 booked on Expedia. They were from Las Vegas or somewhere else, but they were all going together. 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 days before they were to come back, I get a text message saying Hurricane Sarah has hit. They foresee that the airport is going to be closed. We can't get out. That's all my client had to text me at 4 o'clock in the morning. I knew exactly what I needed to do. So then I got on the phone. I handled it all myself, was able to find out when the airport was going to open. They extended nobody was coming in.
Right.
So the hotel was available for them. The 6 couples that I booked were able to go out, go to the bar, go play in the mud. They said even though it was raining and gross, it was still warm, and
Sure.
They still had a great time. The 2 people that booked with Expedia had to stay in their room. There was no cell service on the island, so they had to stay by a landline and wait in a queue with Expedia. Then they took the chance of pushing 1, pushing 4, routed to the wrong situation, wrong company, a language barrier, explaining the whole situation.
Yeah.
And literally it took her 30 seconds to message me and say, Hurricane Sarah hit, we can't get out, help.
Wow.
And I handled it all.
But that's like such peace of mind. Because anybody who's traveled knows that there can be unexpected situations that come up.
I can't control the weather.
Right.
I can't control the airlines. I can help navigate the situation, tell you, go to the counter and talk to the airline directly right there at the counter with me on the phone with you. That way I'm not a middle person.
Right.
The person at the counter is going to know about your delay, probably more so than I can, but I'm there with you on the phone, text, whatever, and you don't have to go through all that.
Yeah.
Another example is just yesterday I had a young gal, she called me and she said, Heidi, I just got married. My grandma just booked this big family cruise, and I got married and I haven't changed my name. And she booked me under the new name, just thinking I had it. She goes, and she can't get anything changed. And about a year ago, I tried to get her to become a travel agent because I knew her family traveled a lot, and it just wasn't the right time for her. And so at the end of all this, I said, now you know, your grandma spent X amount of dollars. Had you been the travel agent, you would have gotten a free cabin because you had 8 cabins booked, and you'd have come home to a $3,000 commission check.
Wow.
Had you booked that.
Wow.
And you would have been able to go in there yourself and change the name. And she was like, ouch, why'd you tell me that? But that's just some of the perks of being a travel agent. And I welcome people to, I've made it a career. I've been lucky enough when I started, I had another full-time job. And then I moved back into Billings after a divorce and picked up another little part-time job just to keep myself busy. And now the travel company, a year and a half ago, 2 Christmases ago, I quit my full-time job, and last summer I quit my other part-time job, and now I'm just a travel agent. And yeah, the hardest part is the hardest part is trying to convince people or explain to people that they're paying that commission no matter what, and they have me as a face-to-face, phone-to-phone, text-to-text person they don't have to worry about.
Right.
And I know what companies we work with, because under my umbrella we're constantly, people will say, well, what happened to this hotel? Well, we severed our contract with them because they didn't meet our standards or something happened or whatever. And so I know that the people and the companies that I use and places I book people with meet our standards, and that I would not feel uneasy about sending anyone on a chartered fishing boat. It's not going to be, it's somebody that we've used before or reputable.
Right, or some flea bag hotel.
Right,
It's
correct.
like, why did she send me here?
Yeah, yeah.
So how did you build your business?
Oh, I think it was just lucky. When I started, it was right after COVID. I'm a talker. I'm a huge extrovert. I've been in Billings and in Yellowstone and Stillwater and Carbon County for 53 years. I know everybody. I like to talk to lots of people. I think I just came in at the right time. A lot of people just trusting me when I put my name out there on Facebook. I just had a lot of people say, okay, Heidi, we'll trust you. And then those people referred me, and I've just made a big presence on social media. My children say I need to up my game and go on TikTok, so I'm trying to learn TikTok, but I've got Facebook mastered, and at any given time, Nancy, I'm in the winter months, so from like October to April, I've got probably 60 trips a day that I'm working on.
Wow.
And that doesn't mean I'm booking 60 a day.
But that's amazing.
But let's say you call me and say we want to go on a trip next December. So it takes me a couple days for you and I to trade, back and forth what information I need. It gave me another day to put everything together. By the time I send it out to you, you have a few days to look at it and you get back to me. Well, I can't wait 7 days, so I have to pick up another trip. So there's always the pick up, put down, of different trips that I'm rotating through.
So you just give people an idea maybe sometimes to start and don't
And some
fine-tune
people will
it.
say, Heidi, we want to go on a cruise, and the cruise has to be on St. Lucia. That needs to be one of the ports. And we don't want Royal Caribbean or Carnival. We has to be Princess, and these are our dates. And I'm like, well, that was pretty easy. I'll find that for you.
Right.
Or somebody will message me and say, we want to go somewhere warm and beachy. So then I have to narrow it down.
Yeah, do you want a cruise?
Right.
Do you want to
or I'll say, what do you see yourself doing on this trip? Are you wanting the nightlife?
Right.
Or do you want the culture? Do you want to scuba dive and snorkel, or are you by the pool person? People will say, we want to go to Hawaii. Well, what island? Well, I don't know. Well, so then I'll send them a little snapshot of what each island is known for. And then they can say, well, do you want the hustle and bustle of Oahu and Waikiki Beach? Or do you want the all-in-one where you can hit everything on the big island? Or do you want Kauai and Maui where, it's serene and once in a lifetime and picturesque? Or really, you could probably, in a 10-day, pick 2 islands, or maybe even 3. Go to Oahu and hit Pearl Harbor, the Polynesian Culture Center, for $100 and a 40-minute flight. Then go to Kauai and spend 3 days, and go to the Big Island. And so really, if you plan it right and we do it right, you can hit all those islands.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you do I don't know how to describe it, really exotic type trips? So for example, I'll give you a couple of examples.
Okay.
I'm not doing this anytime soon.
Okay.
But I've always wanted to go to Siberia, and I thought it would be really cool to take the Siberian railway.
Yes, I do railway stuff.
From St. Petersburg, maybe into Mongolia. I don't know if I'd have time to go all the way to China, but to have something where you can get off the train. And again, I'm not going right now with a war going on, but something like that. Or I've always wanted to go see, the gorillas in their natural habitat.
Oh, that'd be my daughter. She wants to be the...
So something, something
absolutely.
adventurous and things like that.
Again, it may not be something I've already booked. I have not booked a train ride from Siberia. I've done train rides through Europe, or I've even done a train ride... I just lost my train of thought of where I sent the train ride. But anyway, that Siberian one might not be one I've already booked. But again, I have that huge networking that all I'd have to do is reach out even to just my 2 railway companies and say, send me a couple of here's what they want to do.
Yeah.
Help me build an itinerary for them.
Right.
Help me, or I'll reach out to one of my other colleagues in Atlanta and say, have you, I just put it in there, who's who's booked this trip for somebody? And things will flood in saying, we've been, we sent, whatever. And I, just takes a couple of days of back and forth. And a lot of people want to know, can we come to your office? Well, my office is my recliner usually.
You want to meet for coffee? Maybe.
Yeah, so I meet for coffee. But really, I love just working through Facebook Messenger, because then I have a paper trail and a record. Well, I thought I told you I wanted to be here, and so I can go back and say, ooh, you did, you're right, I missed that, let me put that back in. Or I'm like, oh, you didn't tell me that, but I'm glad you told me now. So, I can, or if it's been 5 days or 5 weeks since I've talked to you and you call me and say, hey, do you have anything? I can just read through our thread and say, what, I've booked 10 other cruises exactly like that. What did this particular person want?
Right.
So I like working through emails or Facebook or text messaging, just because I have it right there.
What's been the hardest part about doing this business? Sounds like you really enjoy it, though.
I do. The hardest part,
was it hard learning all the systems? Was it?
No. Funny story. When I started, my mentor, the lady that I'm signed up underneath, lives in Illinois. And I'm a hands-on learner. And my sister lives about 4 hours from her in Missouri. And I said, Joy, I'm going to book a trip. I'm going to come see my sister. I'm going to come spend the weekend with you. And I'm going to do my training before I come, but then I want you to help me. She's like, Heidi, that's not necessary. You'll do fine. And I'm like, no, I'm not tech great. And so I came and I went to her house, and after 4 hours, she said, you got this? And I said, yeah, I got this. Let's go check out St. Louis. And so I think technology was a little bit scary at first.
Sure.
But
it was easy to figure out.
You can't make a mistake until you put someone's credit card in. So really, and I tell people all the time, because I have about 18 people who are signed up under me from in Montana and a couple in Wyoming. And they say, how do I do this? And I said, just get in there and book a trip, because it's not locked in until you put someone's credit card in. So you could book 5 different scenarios, itineraries for yourself, play with it, and you're not going to do anything or lock anything in until you put a credit card in. So if you don't ever do that, you're not ever locked in. So you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Well, and I can see the benefit. Right before COVID, we had a trip planned to Costa Rica, and then everything started shutting down like the day before we were supposed to leave, and I'm like, I don't think we should be going. And so I had to cancel the airline, look up all the individual places, all the hotels, and you think about just all of that.
And I'm a one-stop shop.
Exactly.
You would just, because I would most often, the best deal, the best way is to package it all. And even if I'm pulling a hotel from here, United here, or even you flying out on United from Oahu, or flying in on United Oahu, but maybe the American Airlines out of Kauai is better, I can package them all together, and so then I just have to cancel one.
See, that's so nice. And I also had an experience, you might find this funny, I booked hotels in Peru. So we had a trip we did with a tour group, so it was hiking in the Andes. Then we were planning to stay in Lima, and so I booked a hotel room, except I couldn't find my reservation, and I never got any confirmation via email. And so I think this might be one I called, and so I ended up calling this place, and it was a hostel. It turned out okay. It was quite funny. I mean, like they had peacocks.
Did you end up staying there?
Yeah, we did. Okay. They had peacocks right outside our door, and these great big turtles. I mean, it was so random and so strange. But that's an example where I could have been in trouble.
Could have been.
Had I not found a place.
And you could have called me and said, Heidi, you booked us at this place.
Right.
And this is just not going to work.
Right.
And I would be immediately, I have an in-destination phone number. You have a pre and a post and in-destination, 911 type number, where I could have said, I have clients that just walked up and this place is not okay. We need to get them somewhere else immediately. And so I do have those capabilities to be able to do what I can. All things aren't possible. I mean, sometimes you just can't.
I can't
change an airline, a flight being delayed or whatever. But I can do, you know, what the best that I can do.
Well, and sometimes I know just from experience traveling that if you get on it sooner, you're going to get a better option than if you wait around for in a line in an airport, which is stupid because you're better off just calling somebody ASAP and trying to get it done.
I just thought of a couple of the things that's hard. I don't, and we'll go back to, you don't pay me anything for my services. I don't get paid till about 45 days after people travel.
Okay.
So it has taken me a year, you know, it took me a year to be caught up, you know, because people don't, so you might book for December this year, somebody else is booking for December of next year.
Right.
Somebody else is booking for Memorial Day.
Right.
So I can't even track really my paychecks coming in.
Right.
Because it's all, I don't get paid until after. So it took me a couple years to be ahead of the game, I guess, to where I had paychecks coming in to where I could
totally understand.
Get my other jobs quit. And
well, and yours is like, could be long time frame, could be 9 months out, could be 2 months out.
People book Alaska because there's only a really short window for Alaskan cruises. So people are already booking summer of 2027 for Alaska cruises right now. I couldn't book the airfare because plane schedules aren't built for 300 days. It's about 300 days is when you could see a plane schedule. Hawaii does 6 months out is all, so you really can't get Hawaii booked sooner than 6 months, but sometimes you can. One of the other struggles is convincing people how important trip insurance is. In the United States, it's not as important because people think that trip insurance is just for, say, canceling a trip. I had a gal go to Mexico. She had a heart problem. They couldn't see her she didn't want to be seen in Mexico. She went to the emergency room, realized it was a severe thing. She had to charter her own flight. It was a $50,000 chartered flight to take her into Texas. Her $119 trip insurance covered her emergency trip, the ambulance, her $50,000 chartered flight.
Wow.
Because your medical insurance that you carry does not cover you out of the United States.
Right, for sure, yeah.
And I had another little person that was on a zip line. He didn't fall on the zip line. He just fell on some sticks or something there, broke his leg. Their medical insurance was not, and it was in Costa Rica.
Right.
Their medical insurance would not have covered his broken leg in Costa Rica. Now, I don't want anything like that to happen, but had that lady not had that $119 trip insurance, she'd have had an $80,000 bill with the chartered flight and her hotel or her medical hospital visit. And so, do you want to use it? No, but you'd rather say, "Ooh, glad I spent $119 versus $70,000."
Well, it has been so fun hearing all about your travel business. Before we go, I want to have people know how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, the best way is through Facebook or my cell phone number, 406-861-8920.
And you're on Facebook under Heidi Lyn Stevens?
Heidi Lyn Stevens with one N. I do have a Facebook travel page, which is the Heidi Travel.
Okay.
And I think you have to ask to join. I would like to see if I can get in there. Another technical issue. I don't know how to make it to where it's public, but they have to ask to join. And that's HIGHDTRAVEL. So Heidi Travel, all squished in one word.
Awesome. Well, this has been really informative. Thanks. I travel a lot, and I really learned some new things today.
Great. Glad I could be of help.
Thank you so much for joining us. And everybody, thank you for watching All About Billings, and we hope to see you next time.